Hi, and thank you so much for joining me today for a process video using 49 and Market Artoptions Alena. And I'm starting off using some of Lindy's Magicals, and this set is called Nantucket Pearls. So I'm reaching into the green one, which is seagrass green, and I just want to create almost like a diamond shape in the middle of my page. I'm documenting a photo which you will have seen at the beginning of my husband and myself outside Little Morton Hall, which is a National Trust property near us. And this was back in 2017 when we just went for an afternoon there. So the trick of using these Lindy's Magicals is not to mix them too much. So they're pigment powders that you add water to. They're very, very pigmented. And then they create this wonderful scene, if you like. But all the pigments are all different colours that mix together. So if you don't stir it too much before you start adding them to the page, as you can see here, this is a yellow spot. So I'm just smearing that out and trying to blend it in with the other colours. But as it dries, you'll see there are blues and yellows and all sorts of beautiful tones in this. And that's what I love about the Lindy's Magicals. They're very different from shimmers. I love shimmers as well, but these just give something completely different. So I've finished that, and now I'm going to leave it to dry, and you can see all those different colours. Isn't that amazing? So I'm sticking my photo down to some white cardstock just to get a very thin border around the edge. I wanted to keep this layout fairly simple, which isn't easy for me, but I try not to add too much. I've gone through the laser cut elements from this collection and popped them all off the card so that they're to the side of me, to the left hand side. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. So I'm just trying to choose a paper to add behind this photo. Now originally I was going to use that pale green, but because that's an offcut that I've got, but it's too close to the green of the paint, so I'm just choosing an alternative. So I do end up with this deep teal, but I've managed to knock my photo. This is the problem with using wet glue to stick a photo down. It doesn't hold straight away, and I managed to get it a bit wonky. So I'll have to play with that in a minute. But I'm just auditioning different papers to see which one to use. I love that stripy one. You'll know I love a diagonal stripe if you've watched me in the past. But I decided to stick with this teal because it's a nice contrast to that background. And it's almost a shame to cover that. Look at just keep looking at it, the gorgeous colours. These Lindy's Magicals, do have a look at them if you haven't used them before. They're well worth a look. So I'm just straightening that photo, and you can see I've left a slightly longer piece at the bottom of the page because I'm going to tear that just to add a bit of texture there. So distressing all the edges with my edge tool, and this is where I decide to tear that bottom, and then I'll use the distresser just to get that distressed as well. And like I say, I want to keep this fairly simple, so I'm going to keep the photo fairly central. And I've got this cathedral arch window, and I see other people using these from 49 and Market and think that they do such a wonderful job, but I really struggle with shapes like this. But I was determined. I thought if I'm going to use it on a layout, one of this black and white Tudor National Trust property is probably the one to use it on. So I've just layered it up as a layering piece behind the photo to the right hand side of us, and I do think it works really nicely actually. So now this is all laser cut pieces. So these are two lace pieces that I'm layering underneath, and then there are some blank postage stamps. So I've added that with one of the little leaves there, and this phrase says life is so good. And actually there are two of those phrases in this collection. There's a stamp there that says hello with a little butterfly on, which I think works nicely, and then another one of those pale blue stamps, the blank stamps. So I decided to add that to the right, but I don't like the shape that it's created, so I actually end up adding that on top of that other stamp. So I'm just about to move it now. There you go. And that creates a much better shape for me. I'm trying to keep everything tight to the middle of the page. So another leaf, which I think works really nicely there. And then a couple of butterflies, a green one and a blue one. You can see I've stuck to the teals and greens on this page because that's pretty much all the colours in the page. That little tab on top is where I'll add my date, and then this tiny piece that you can see that I've added to the right hand side there is actually a pull-off piece from those two pale blue blank stamps, but I just thought it was such a wonderful texture I had to bring it in. So I'll add that to the side of the photo in a minute. So I decided it's time to start gluing everything down. Like I say, I want to keep this nice and simple and classy. We've got another photo of me with the kids from this day out, so I'm going to scrap that as a companion page. So I don't need to add too much onto this page. So just getting, as I say, getting things stuck down. So there's that beautiful pale blue blank postage stamp. I've stuck that offcut from the stamps above, and you can see it's just tucked into the right hand side of the photo. I'm so sorry about the glare. This is a photo that I had printed from one of these print companies, Snapfish I think it was, and they've done a glossy paper, and so my ring light is really glaring off that. So just getting that stuck down. I decided just to keep everything flat. I've not used any foam pads today. It was just easier with layering. Sometimes you just want something quick and easy, don't you? And this one came together ever so quickly. I think this video is only about 8 minutes long, which is very short for me. They're normally at least 12. So just adding some dots of glue behind those leaves. I want to leave them a little bit free, but I want them to stay in place as well. So it's getting that balance, isn't it? I realised I haven't stuck this lace down, so I'm just going to tuck that in. First of all, the green piece, and then going in with the teal afterwards. And then I can work on that left-hand cluster of the stamp and things. And you'll see in a minute, as I mess around here and knock that leaf right the way over my photo. And I don't realise till much later. I do fix that at the end, but it was funny watching back and realising that I'd done that, because when I came to fix it, I couldn't work out when it had happened. But that was when it was. The beauty of recording, you see what actually happens. So almost everything stuck down now. I'm going to bring in my roller date stamp to add the date to that tab that goes to the top of the photo, and I will glue that directly onto the photo. I sometimes tuck it behind in between the layers, but today I decided to glue it on top. And I'm ever so wonky with my stamping here, so I do go in and add another shadow one to try and sort of even it out. And so just glue it, as I say, that straight on top. And these butterflies, I'm just going to add the glue to their bodies and leave the wings to fly free. Of course they'll flatten in the page protectors, but it looks nice for now. And I'm simply going to write Little Morton Hall National Trust at the bottom, because like I say, I've got another page to do of me with the kids, so I don't need to put too much on this one. So that's where I noticed that leaf, and you can see me hesitating, thinking, well, how on earth did that happen? And finally, I'm going to come in with my Nuvo Crystal Drops in gold. I don't think this is available anymore, but they have lots of different colours. You know I love these if you've watched me before. And that's pretty much it done. I'm just going to bring in some fabric tape right at the very end, because that was the start for me looking at this Alena collection, and then I completely forgot about it. I put it to the back of my desk and just hadn't looked. So here I am with a little bit of that fabric tape. Just adding a third layer underneath the photo. I love the colours in this fabric tape, so I'll have to remember to bring that in on the other photo that I'm going to document, as I say, of me and the kids. So just getting that tucked underneath those 2 layers of lace, or faux lace, because it's laser cut. And I do fiddle and faffle up. In the end, I decided to just stick it down and then pull everything up from under it. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this process video, and I shall see you again on Sunday. Bye.